In every corner of the globe, a martial artist is building their dream. Every drop of sweat, every thrilling victory, every agonizing defeat, every moment spent toiling in darkness, all in service of a dream. This year, at Polaris Squads, they will give it all for their team. North America, Europe, Asia, South America. Which continent has the best grapplers on Earth? There is no greatness without pressure. Something Helena Crevar has felt from the very beginning. Raised in Las Vegas on a foundation of discipline, by 3 years old, she was already a martial artist. By 17, she had rewritten jiu-jitsu history.
Leg free right now.
Do it, Helena Crevar, the youngest ADCC Trials champion of all time.
I played second at ADCC, and that was probably like one of my highest achievements. It was amazing because I first qualified for it by winning the West Coast Trials that year amongst a bracket of 60 women, and I had 5 matches, 4 submissions out of that, which qualified me to go to the top 8 women in the world at under 65 kilos, and I was able to be the youngest finalist there. So going through that whole experience was really amazing, and just getting the experience at such a young age at 17, getting the first heel hook in the women's division, and just being able to do a 30-minute match with one of the best women out there and one of the most successful in jiu-jitsu, Annie Vieira, was definitely a great experience for me, and just really happy to have done that.
From Kajukenbo to ballet to jiu-jitsu, Helena lived in motion. But it was on the mats that she found her calling. And it didn't take long for the world to notice.
Yeah, my parents, they always wanted me to be active, to do something outside of school. So they started me very young, just for fun and to make friends in Kajukenbo. Kajukenbo was the longest one I did before jiu-jitsu, which was 5 years. Everything else I tried in between month, 2 months, maybe just 1 day. And I was just always doing something, trying either Kajukenbo or ballroom dance. I tried ballet, I tried gymnastics, tried swimming, and afterwards I tried Muay Thai, judo, wrestling. But pretty much it all led me to try jiu-jitsu and fall in love with it. My parents are from Serbia, Eastern Europe, which is former Yugoslavia. I was born in Las Vegas, but I also speak 2 languages. I speak English and Serbo-Croatian. My parents, they were born over there. They then moved to Canada. They lived there for 7 years. Then they moved from Canada to Las Vegas, and that was where I was born and raised until 2022 when we did move here to Austin.
The youngest ever ADCC medalist, Polaris champion, world title holder. But these moments didn't come easy. Behind them are years of sacrifice. Under the watchful eye of John Danaher, she sharpened her game, facing elite adults while still just a teenager.
Helena Crevar!
Helena's been at a very high level in jiu-jitsu, which you can clearly see with her professional accomplishments when she fights in professional grappling matches. Since she was a teenager, she's been competing against black belts all the way up to black belt world championship level. But her age always restricted how far she could progress in IBJJF competition. However, by winning world championships, that provides a shortcut. Every time you win a world championships, you can be promoted to the next belt level in much shorter time. So because of that, we were able to promote Helena at an unusually young age, 18, to black belt. Helena, step forward.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
There's a sense in which everyone knew Helena was going to be very good. And within a very short time frame, the question switched from will she be good to how good can she get? I will say that Helena's overall mindset and sense of progression aligns extremely well with the best professional athletes that I've ever coached.
This isn't the end of Helena's story. It's just the beginning. There is no path for the nomad. She makes her own. Born in London to an Italian father and a Chinese mother, Margot Ciccarelli has moved between cultures, disciplines, and continents.
Self-identifying as a nomad, like I wasn't sure that I was going to end up in New York City, and it happened pretty much as a byproduct of a particular event happening in Hong Kong, which was where I was living. I separated from my old affiliation, and I kind of didn't have a home anymore. I was immediately thinking, well, I have to start going more internationally, and I might have to make that jump to move abroad. One of the teams that I researched quite a lot in that generation was Unity Jiu-Jitsu. So it had a plethora of high-level individuals, like the Meow Brothers, Levi, all of the Cicero Costa boys. For me, it was one of the most diverse gyms with many different jiu-jitsu styles.
From wushu to Wing Chun, powerlifting to dance, movement became her language. Jiu-jitsu was the grammar.
I started jiu-jitsu in July of 2012, and at the time I was studying Chinese martial arts. So I was really fond of Chinese martial arts growing up, and very fascinated by the Hong Kong film industry, the martial arts film industry. It was a very big inspiration of mine growing up. And it was very casual beginnings in jiu-jitsu. I had a friend that I used to lift with, and he was a black belt in judo and also a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. And he just simply asked me one day if I wanted to try a class, and I was like, it's a martial art that I've never tried before. I definitely had a lot of curiosity, so I said yes. And I was pretty much hooked after the first class.
She's faced injury, divorce, and grief. And through it all, she kept moving, not untouched, but unwavering. From London to Hong Kong, to New York and beyond, she's built her style on honesty, not convention. A European champion, a world-level contender, a black belt under Murillo Santana. The journey has shaped her, but never defined her. Margot doesn't just win, she performs.
majority of my training camp, if I'm totally honest with you, has been mainly based in the gi. And I do a lot of tape study. I regularly watch all the no-gi events that come up, like UFC Fight Pass, whatever platform it's on, and I'm constantly training my mind, because I think it's a dual-sided practice. You have the physical practice and the mental practice. So I have mainly been in the gi, physically, but my mind has been dabbling in both the entire year. Now I'm going to finish the rest of my camp at Standard Jiu-Jitsu. I'm just spending the next 2 weeks over there with Greg and ready to fly to Europe after that. So I'm really excited to see what the remainder of the camp looks like, but my mind's ready. Now the body just has to do the work.
15-year-old Nia Blackman took up jiu-jitsu when she was 7 and has already won several gold medals. Her dream now to take on and beat the best in the world.
Nia Blackman broke through early, but the work never stopped, and neither did she. On the mats of South London, she trained with focus. Backed by a family who understood the discipline sport demands.
They both played sports as well, growing up a lot. They've always been really just follow your passions, and whatever we can do to support you, we'll do that.
Martial arts is a great discipline for kids. I hadn't even heard of it before, but she fell in love with it instantly. She just loved it, took to it like a duck to water.
She built her foundation early and built it well.
I remember I lost my first fight and I was really, really upset. I had to hype myself back up. I got back on. I remember my mum was just as loud as she is today. I kind of hopped back into it, and I think I armbarred the girl really quickly, and I was like, yeah, I want to get back out here and I want to do another competition again.
Her rise didn't go unnoticed. As the medals stacked up, so did the attention.
From this trials is Nia Blackman.
Nia Blackman. We have another world champion in the capital.
Young athlete from Beckenham, hoping her success can raise the profile of all the women who compete in her field.
She's been tested in training rooms, on competition mats, under the weight of expectation. There was a point where she questioned if her best days were already behind her.
Being a young girl in the sport, I got to a point at around 12, 13 where that's the age that unfortunately girls tend to drop off of sports, especially jiu-jitsu. And I got to a place where there wasn't really many girls for me to fight in the UK. So at around 12, 13, I started to fight in the boys division, and I was 13 fighting in the 15 to 16-year-old boys division. Yeah, I won quite a couple of them actually. But then obviously they started to hit puberty. So what I ended up doing at around 13 years old is I started competing as an orange belt in the adult blue belt division. And then I kind of got to a point in my jiu-jitsu where obviously I was fighting a lot of the women who were the best of the best at the purple belt and the brown belt. And I'm still obviously being quite young, 17, 18. I went for a long time without really losing. That when I kind of got to those points and I didn't win, it was I don't know how to handle this really, and it did definitely knock my confidence quite a bit.
Nia's quiet determination would carry her through Europe's toughest circuits, across world stages, all before earning her black belt at 19. But Nia Blackman didn't stop. She grew past the doubt and kept climbing.
I knew I wasn't coming out there and living up to my full potential, so it was very hard for me, and I ended up doing a big change of gyms and coming to Raw, and slowly while I was here, my confidence started to build again. Even leading up to the ADCC trials is when I first started coming to Royal, and yeah, it was definitely the best option for me. And yeah, throughout this past year and a half, my confidence has grown. So it was just also doing a lot of that mental work behind the scenes, mentally preparing yourself. Obviously learning to lose, having it not knock your confidence, and still obviously getting back up, getting back out there, getting on the mats every time, no matter the result. That coming here and obviously not just working on my jiu-jitsu, but just working on my mindset was very important. I'm definitely just looking forward to going out there, giving it all I got. She's obviously improved, I've obviously improved, and yeah, just expect another good match, another scrap.
For the young phenom, the goal was never attention. It was excellence.
She looked like a veteran.
And representing Brazilian top team, Brianna St-Marie.
Oh my goodness! Brianna St-Marie.
Brianna St-Marie built her name on consistency and results that spoke for themselves. From rugby fields in Montreal to world stages in jiu-jitsu.
2024 female lightweight crown champion is Brianna St-Marie.
My dad started jiu-jitsu before I did. He did grappling, but at the time there wasn't like necessarily officially jiu-jitsu yet that had come to like Montreal or even Canada really. But then when I was like really young, like, 6, 7 years old, my dad for fun would like show me like, a headlock or something, and then I really wanted to do what he was showing me. At the time it wasn't like accessible. And then my dad started jiu-jitsu when it became like a thing in Montreal. But then at that point I was a teenager, and the thought of like doing a sport with my dad was like not appealing to me. At 19 years old, I thought, actually maybe this could be kind of fun. So I went to the gym and I tried it out, and I pretty much immediately fell in love with it. Like I just had so much fun doing it.
Oh, hi Will. Oh my goodness, I think
Get the hooks, Brianna.
Brianna climbed fast, but somewhere along the line, the joy faded.
I should do a one-handed crack, but I can't. Jiu-jitsu made me feel really great, so I just like started kind of putting all my eggs in that one basket. The classic mistakes, like I equated essentially like my whole self-worth with my competition results, right? I was getting away with it because I was just doing really great in competition, And then I finally had pretty serious like back injury in 2022.
A back injury slowed her body. The pressure weighed on her mind. And for a moment, she questioned if she'd ever want to compete again.
Got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I just need to win something now so I can retire. Just like desperate to have accomplished what I wanted to accomplish so I could stop. And that was just like the worst mindset. And actually removing that pressure is what allowed me to like finally like work on my mental health and get to a place where I feel like a lot better about competition.
But she kept showing up, not to prove anything, but to find something. In 2024, she did. 7 matches, 1 open class title, a weekend where she felt free again.
This is the quarterfinal matchup in the women's lightweight division.
And Brianna St-Marie gets a victory on our mat.
Brianna St-Marie jumps to a guillotine.
Oh my goodness!
That's it, Jay!
Brianna St-Marie!
In the Crown lightweight final.
And here we go. Brianna Levitt compete on mat number 2 today, Danny. This one's gonna come down to the wire.
Brianna St-Marie, amazing performance today.
And your 2024 female lightweight crown champion is Brianna St-Marie, representing
advantage in the lightweight final, wins the 2024 IBJJF crown.
For the first time in years, she wasn't fighting for approval. She was fighting like herself.
I was like, I'm fucking done with like, I gotta be number 1, I gotta win this, I gotta win that, I gotta beat this person, I gotta beat that person. I was like, I'm fucking done with that. Being surrounded by the right people, like my close friends in the sport, their support that they offered during that period where I felt like super depressed and like in a really bad place, like having their support obviously in those moments was like amazing.
I feel really great. I've honestly been like
really struggling the past couple of years mentally, and I've put in a lot of work on fixing that. And it's really cool to come out here and feel like I'm using my jiu-jitsu, what I know I'm capable of in the training room, transferring onto the mats, and that's honestly all you can ask for.
Surrounding yourself with people who are pursuing the same things also, you know, they understand the struggle, so that was like really helpful. They understand kind of the grind and what you're going through. Yeah, and then I think also just like finding fun in the sport. Like the reason why I chose to like commit myself to jiu-jitsu was because I was like, oh, I have so much fun doing it. So now my focus when I compete is just about like self-improvement. Like I love learning jiu-jitsu, so just like problem solving stuff, training with people who I think are like cool and fun to train with, and then just doing competitions that I'm like, that would be fun, a fun competition to do. And going into it with that mindset, I think has been huge.